from a broken bone, and yeah, it's a long story. I know, good times.
Anyways,
So,
while
little
you're
sleeve.
little sleeve. So anyways, so cheers. I don't know if you have a cocktail this evening.
Cheers.
Yay.
Yay,
Wine for
cheers.
the win.
Oh,
Wine
wow,
across
it
the
is.
board, except for Jaws. You're the
Yep,
loser.
I got Florida in a cup. So
Love it.
So welcome, Jia. Thank you so much for like accepting our invitation and coming on the podcast. We're super excited to have you here.
Oh, thanks for having me. When you messaged me, everything you said in your emails, like, this sounds like the best podcast I'll ever be on. So
We hope you have fun, because we're just like, that's what it's all about, right? It's just to have like fun and hang out. And, you know, Nikki, when I found you online in some of the communities that we're both like in, I said to Nikki, I was like, oh, she does true crime. And Nikki's like, yay, because Nikki loves true crime. So I know that you did a short, is it called a short doc? Is that
Yep.
Okay. And it's
That's right.
called Conviction.
Yep, that's
Okay.
right.
So I watched it on Amazon Prime, and I think that's so sweet. So share with everybody about like what you actually do in terms of like the realm of true crime, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And Nikki, I also love true crime. So just to give you a little background, I switched careers at 40 years old to go into filmmaking just to make stories about true crime and wrongful conviction. So I've
you.
also been addicted to it my whole life. But the story Conviction is about a 16-year-old boy. His name was Jeff, and he was in high school in New York. And unfortunately, in a very safe town in New York. And unfortunately, one of the girls in his school was raped and murdered. And when that happened, the police came to the school to question students. And Jeff happened to be a quiet kid. Like, he was just quiet and, you know, odd in school, which, I mean, I was too, half the world is. And the students, I guess, told the cops that they should look into Jeff because he just seems quiet or a little bit, you know, odd or what have you. And so the detectives turned their attention to Jeff, and he ended up getting wrongfully convicted of this horrific crime and got sent to like an adult max security prison for 15 years to life at the age of 17.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So I know that is crazy. I want to back it up though, because I know that Ginger and I are both like, how do you go from fashion to true crime, right? Like that's a huge leap across like a giant, like, I don't know.
Because
like
it's more exciting, duh.
Yeah.
Fashion.
I know.
Fashion.
I mean, that's like a pretty wild leap of faith. Like, what I guess my thing is what moment in your timeline or like your life that you were kind of like, that tipped you over the edge to just take that leap, you know, because something must have like, you know, just came at you, or something must have happened, you know, like a wow moment.
Yeah, for sure. Actually, a few things happened kind of back to back. I had been thinking for a long time that I wanted to do something to help people who've been wrongfully convicted. When I was like, I don't even know, 20 years old, I had read this book by Reuben Carter called The 16th Round. It's actually the book that the Denzel Washington movie, The Hurricane, was based on. So if anyone is old enough to remember that movie, that's what the book
I feel like
was.
they still make kids watch that movie.
Yeah.
I feel like one of my kids watched it in school. So
I'm sure they do. It was really good. But I watched that and I read that book, and it really just struck me because I was young, obviously, and I just didn't think that wrongful convictions happened. Like, I trusted law enforcement. I didn't think people could go to prison for life for something they didn't do. It just wasn't something that I was aware of at that time. And so it really just stuck with me. I was like, how could this happen? Like, what happened here? And Reuben Carter's book was such a raw account of an innocent person's raw emotions and feelings and what he was going through being trapped in a prison. And it just, I don't know, just stuck with me. And then fast forward to 2014, the Serial podcast came out and I listened to it. And obviously, for any of you who have listened to that one, it was a story of Adnan Syed, who was also wrongfully convicted. Well, I believe wrongfully convicted of a murder that he didn't commit at the age of 17 in high school. And I just thought, you know, this is entertaining and all, and Serial was done really well, but this is some kid who needs help and he's still sitting there in this prison. And, you know, we're all listening to this as entertainment, but like he's just there, you know, and he's been there for over 20 years now. And so I thought I'd wanted to do something and for him to raise some money for his legal defense fund. So I organized this fundraiser in New York and just had like local bands and musicians play. And I was the one who made the free Adnan shirts originally, and we sold them at this fundraiser. and I worked in fashion at the time, so I could, make these shirts, and that's what I knew how to
They
do.
were
So I
probably
did that.
awesome shirts.
Yeah, they're awesome. Well, now they're like viral. They're everywhere. It's like
Are
everyone
they?
has made them. Yeah, they just went crazy. Everybody has made that shirt since. But we were the first ones to make it back then. And anyways, long story short, I ended up having this fundraiser, and we raised a few $1,000s. And through that process, we ended up meeting, me and my girlfriend ended up meeting Adnan's family. And they were just the nicest people in the world. They're still good friends of mine today. And after doing that fundraiser, that was kind of the catalyst. I was like, no, I want to do more of this. I want to help other people. Like, this is such a rewarding experience. And I kind of got a taste of like, I can do this. And at the same time, within the couple of years, I had my son, and he was my first child and my only child. And so I had taken time off from working in the fashion industry to obviously be a mom and maternity leave and all that. And so it was just this perfect time where I was like, do I want to go back and do what I used to do? And the answer was not really. And I didn't find that so fulfilling anymore. And so I just decided I would do something else. And I didn't know what that something else was. And then I was at Adnan's post-conviction hearing in the courtroom in Baltimore. I went to it, and there was a camera crew filming there. And it was like literally 2 or 3 people. And the family ended up telling us, oh, they're filming the HBO documentary, The Case Against Adnan Syed. And I was so naive, and I knew nothing about filmmaking, and I had no experience in film. I had a lot of experience in photography, like with a camera, but none making movies.
Right.
And in my naive, silly mind, I was like, these 3 people are making an HBO doc. Like, I got this. I can do this. This is what I'm going to do. And so I came home and I told my husband, I was like, I want to make movies. And he was like, what are you talking about?
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I enrolled into school, and, that's where it all started.
That's pretty cool. I mean, that's like definitely a good explanation. Wow. Whenever I think of fashion, like I like read a ton of books. I always think of like The Devil Wears Prada,
Yeah,
I always think of like Sex and the City, the movie.
of course.
And in my head, I was thinking like, what character would I be if I was in Sex and the City? I don't know. That's just where my brain goes. And I'm like, I was so Charlotte, not to lighten the mood here. I was the one in Mexico pooping my brains out because I drank the water. Like, that was me. So sorry, I had to go there. But I mean, anyway.
I did not watch Sex and the City.
Oh, wow.
I think I've seen like 10 episodes.
No, I thought every girl has had this, which character would I be? I thought every woman.
Really?
Right? Yes.
Okay. Who would you be?
Get with the program,
Gia.
Ginger.
Nikki.
Well,
I don't know.
for me, it'd be my closet is like Sarah Jessica Parker's. It was like 20 years of working in the fashion
I knew
industry,
it.
So
I knew it. I knew that. I knew you would choose Sarah Jessica Parker. Nikki, do you want to chime in?
I don't know. You tell me.
Maybe Samantha.
I mean,
No.
Samantha's
No.
amazing.
Okay, well then.
I love her, but no, she's
Okay.
probably better than the one that I'm more like.
Okay. Think about it and get back
Miranda,
to us.
probably Miranda.
Oh,
It's
totally
probably-
Miranda.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
actually a quiz online that you can take to figure out
There's
what
a
character.
quiz for everything.
I
online.
know,
I
right?
love
I mean,
it.
Samantha, I think, has more fun, but
Yeah.
I'm probably more like Miranda.
Yeah, you probably are more like Miranda. So do you still have any part in fashion at all? I mean, or do you just take your experience and sort of, like you said, it transcended you into true crime by doing a fundraiser? So I think that's really organic and cool. But are you involved in it still?
I am a little bit, well, I should say more than a little bit. I actually launched my own company before ever switching. It's called Studio 15. It's a fashion brand, and I still own it and I still run it. And we still, that is kind of now my side business. And I do the movies as the main thing.
Right.
Whereas, obviously that used to be the main thing before. But other than that, I no longer do anything else.
It's like your side hustle right now,
Yeah.
right? It's like your side hustle.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how did you get into fashion though? I mean, was that something you went to school for too?
I did. That's what I went
Okay.
to college for
Okay.
fashion merchandising and management way back when I was,
Way back.
super young.
Your parents
and
cool
I
with
started.
that? Like, I feel like we've
No.
talked before about our parents like being like, hey, if it's the arts, it's a no.
Yes.
And that's kind of like
Yes.
how my parents' generation is. It's like, no,
Yes.
you can't make a career out of that. Did you
That's
experience
exactly
the same thing?
Yeah, it was a no. It was a big fat no. And I took the general studies courses and stuff for like a year in university. And then I just dropped out and I got offered a full-time job at a retail store. And I took that job and my parents were just like, what are you doing with your life? This is a disaster. And then I figured out that that's what I wanted to do. So then I quit and went back to school for actually to study fashion. And then once actually I'd say 6 or so years into it, when I actually had some success, then my parents were like, "Oh, you can make good money doing this? Like you could, you
Totally.
know," then they were like, "Okay, well, you made a career, it's
They
fine."
got on board.
Yes.
Yay.
Yeah, yeah.
It only took my parents like 20 years to get on board when I went into radio, and then I got out of radio, and then I went into podcasting. They're like, "What's a podcast?" And I was like, "Never mind. Just it'll be another 20 years down the road before you're on board with the podcasting situation,
Yeah,
right?"
it will be.
So
My
were you?
dad's dream
Go ahead.
job was working radio.
Oh,
And so he kind of got it. Like he didn't want to stand in my way because his parents didn't let him and they made him quit.
Right.
And so I think he had a little bit of like, I don't want to
Yeah.
do that because it happened to me.
So okay, so were your parents on board? Let's get back to true crime. So in your short film or your short documentary. So I know I said that wrong, Nikki, but just okay. I mispronounce words all the time, so just roll with it. But were your parents on board when you made the switch from fashion? Because they're like, "Yay, you're making money," and then you're like, "Just kidding, I'm going into true crime." Like, were they like cool with it?
They definitely questioned me, like, "What are you doing? Like, you're going
Right.
to give up the salary and these 20 years of experience and all that stuff." But I was also 40. And,
Right.
so there was no like conversation about it because it's just,
Yeah.
it's
Isn't
just
that the
too late.
best? I just recently turned 40 and we had a conversation about like awesome things about being 40. And that
Yeah.
is totally one of the things that we did not think about. It's like
Yeah.
whatever my parents say, I'm like,
Yeah.
I get to
Yeah.
do whatever I want.
You're
Yeah.
like,
They
I'm a
usually get on
grown-up.
board, they get on
Yeah.
board. They know they want me to be a grown up.
My mom is so funny. I mean, she's just an amazing woman, but it's so funny, like the cultural difference, because she was raised in Pakistan and then moved to Canada when, she had us. And so she's been here for a long time, but she grew up fully in the other culture. And so when I first switched careers, she says to me, "What are you trying to do? You want to be a big time Hollywood producer?" And I was like, "Who says these words?"
Right.
Like, what?
Awesome.
Thanks, Mom. Right.
That's not my goal, but okay.
I have to tell you though,
Funny.
I mean, I really did love the videography that you put together with the short
Aw,
for
thank you.
Conviction. Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of my thing. And the audio was great, and the shots that you found and you took and the way you integrated. I'm not really into video, I'm totally into audio, but I mean, I really enjoyed it. And so it's only available on Amazon Prime for like a short period of time, correct? Because it's going to be a full film soon. Or
Yeah,
is it
that's
already?
right.
Okay.
No, well, yes and no. We're in the final stages of the feature length film, so it'll be the 1.5 hour long version.
Yeah.
So I haven't decided yet if the short will stay on Amazon or if we'll take it down or
Okay.
not. So it may be available, but yes, that's you're 100% right. The feature film is the one that will be the one that we really want people to see.
When is that one coming out?
So the goal is this year, 2021. It's actually finished except for 2 shoots. And because of COVID, everything got
Right.
shut down. So we had one shoot inside a prison where Jeff was when he got released, the prison he used to be at. And the other one is with a woman who was instrumental in his release. And she's in Colorado. And because we can't travel, there's just these 2 shoots that are left. So the film has been actually
Right.
almost complete for over 6-7 months, but we just kind of at a standstill.
I
So
tell
I'm
you,
really
so
hoping.
crazy. I got
Yeah.
a dog from Canada during COVID. COVID puppies are trending.
Yeah. Yep.
They are.
And it was like I learned a lot. I had to have there was a lot involved just to get a dog here. I can't imagine getting like a crew.
Over
Oh,
the
it'd
be,
border,
like,
right?
insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I live in New York, so
Oh,
I
you
wouldn't.
do?
I'm in Canada now because I'm visiting my parents because my dad got sick.
Oh,
But I normally live in
okay.
New York, so the border thing wouldn't be an issue. But just getting on an airplane is terrifying right now.
It is a little bit, yeah.
Right?
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it is. You like it's
Yeah.
already anxiety inducing to like travel anyway, especially if you have kids and
Yes.
and then like to travel in this kind of situation. I know a lot of people like